and that means keeping the ball and, trying to, as he says, pound the rock at the expense of actually being a bit creative, taking a bit of a chance, looking for that killer ball. That's all gone. We haven't got that. The players seem numb.
Yeah.
They seem numb. It's like robots. They're like robots.
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And frustratingly, Birmingham City lost 1-0 away at Bristol City on Saturday afternoon. Now, during these post-match videos, me and my dad are usually talking about red cards and goals and various different aspects of the game, but there really isn't a lot to talk about. There was very rare threats in front of goals, but we are going to talk about themes because there is a pattern here for Birmingham City away from home, which just isn't good enough. So, Dad, we lose 1-0 at Ashton Gate. What were your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are, you said there's not much to talk about. There is so much to talk about.
Just in terms of goal scoring chances here.
Yeah. I mean, highlights. I mean, even the highlights on Sky, I mean, they struggled to get a minute and a half out of it. So, but do you know, Matt, when we reflect on these games, often particularly away games, we have a little bit more time because we don't do immediate post-match reactions because we don't record vlogs and we obviously have families and stuff like that. So, and normally that gives us a bit of time to reflect and think about what's going on. And usually I'll calm down. Do you know what I mean? I'll be watch a game and I'll have thoughts, and then over the day or whatever it is, I'll sort of like it'll all settle down. But the more I think about the way we're playing at the moment, and the more I think about the game at Bristol City, the more frustrated and angry I get because I'm watching a football team now that I believe is so heavily coached and data driven that it's removed the players' ability to be creative and to find something different. They're so focused on the data. It's like they're in the dressing room just before the game and there's a big massive computer in the middle and Chris Davis said, okay, plug your leads in, lads. Plugs all the leads in, they download all this data. And obviously, it doesn't give them the chance to do anything different.
BCFC meets the Matrix sort of thing. You kind of get plugged in at the start of the game and then you go move on a computer system.
Well, one thing I will say, I watched Tommy Kelsel's immediate post-match reaction video, which I love with him and Jack and his dad. And his dad said something fantastic. He said it was like data versus data, explaining that exactly football now has become so clinical in terms of it's all about data and and it's not tactics really, it's data and I thought that was a brilliant way of explaining it. I was going to put that on the thumb, but I thought no, we'll end up getting a YouTube breach because put data versus data. But it really, in a nutshell, explains the problem here. I think that we're so focused now on data that our players, I think, are just unable to. It's almost like unable to think for themselves.
Yeah, we're way too easy to play against, aren't we? If you're Bristol City and you look at Birmingham coming into that game, you're rubbing your hands together, aren't you? They're going to go side to side. I mean, what's staggering me, Dad, is Chris Davies on the training pitch with these players, and we're just going side to side. He's going, oh, I love that.
Yeah.
We're going to do that every week. Every time we get the ball, let's go side to side. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Like, is there no progression here to make us a bit more of an attacking threat?
Yeah.
Stop the side to side football. Actually go at teams. And I think, let's be honest, Dad, we could have been playing that game till Christmas. We wouldn't have scored a goal.
No.
We haven't got it in us. And what was frustrating was, against Preston away, Dad, we found a different way to win.
Yeah.
It was gritty. It was like the old Blues. We stuck in, we fought, and we grinded that result out away against Preston. Where was that kind of initiative, that fighting spirit, that element of the Preston game? Because you need different ways to win football games.
I completely agree. It's the urgency, isn't it? It's like you're sitting in your lounge, right, and suddenly somebody running in and say, hey, your house is on fire! And you just sit there, so I'm just going to watch the end of my programme. You're not aware of the urgency of the situation, and you don't react quickly, and you end up, you don't understand what's going on. So what I'm getting at is if you're losing a game 1-0, there has to be an urgency to create chances. We've played 12 league games so far, and 6 of those 12 games we've either had 1 or 0 shots on target in half of them.
More so away from home, but in I think the 5 out of the 6 away games we played, or however many away games, Dad, we've had 1 shot on target.
I always look
enough.
at the stats. So on my notes when I'm preparing for these pods, I always look at shots on target. I don't look at shots because it's not a true reflection really, because a shot could be anything, couldn't it? But Bristol City 1 shot on target, Preston 2 shots on target, Coventry 0, Stoke 0, Leicester 1, Port Vale 0, Oxford 1. So that's like over half of our games we've either had a 0 or 1 shot on target. You ain't going to win games like that.
A big red flag for me, Dad, is that number 10 position.
Yeah.
Paik is not a number 10. Tommy Doyle is not a number 10. Keshi Anderson's not a number 10. Kumas is not a number 10. Stansfield is not a number 10.
Yeah.
We talk about League One last season, round pegs in square holes. How many round pegs are we going to fit in the number 10 square hole? We don't have a clinical or adventurous and creative and skillful number 10 regularly. I mean, what's happened to Fujimoto? He is a number 10. And, we are trying Tommy Doyle, we're trying Paik at the minute. It's just not working. Fair enough, I know we have injuries. I know Williamson is a number 10. I know Duke could arguably play that number 10. I get that. We have a few injuries. But we need to stop this trialling in the number 10. It's not good enough, and we're not creative enough going forward. I mean, it was so frustrating, Dad. There's a couple of things for me. One, the side-to-side. I know all Blues fans are going to get that. The tempo was slow.
Yeah.
And again, Dad, me, you, and the chap, shout out to the chap who was to our left at Bristol City. He features a lot on Davo's videos. I don't know his name, but he had some lovely chicken. He was eating throughout the game. The smell of this chicken was just hitting. It's the best bit about the game, wasn't it, really?
On his snap one out of his hand.
The smell of chicken coming over was amazing.
He did tell us his name, and I apologise. I can't remember. We meet that many people at a game. I can't remember his name, but you know you are.
Yeah.
And, some great chats with him, actually.
But what we were talking about during the game was this side-to-side, this lack of ambition, this slow tempo. There was no urgency. And what all of us were saying, even the couple of blokes behind me were saying, Dad, we break the press, we look a little bit dangerous, and then we allow teams to just come back and put 11 men behind the ball.
Yeah.
That's how slow we are on the transition and slow we are going forward. Their fullbacks and their centre-halves and their centre-mids sit deep, and Bristol City did a pretty good job of just controlling the game defensively. We couldn't break through them. They were a bit of a wall and a unit, and we have to have another plan when we play teams like that. It's not good enough to have one shot on target away from home, keep slowing the game, allowing them teams to get back into position. And that's another theme we've seen this season, Dad. We're not fast enough when we go forward.
Yeah, and we need to have those players that can do something different. The only player that came out with any credit, I suppose, was Patrick Roberts. I thought
Mark Leonard as well.
Yeah, sorry, Mark Leonard. Yeah, he did well as well. But overall, but then I said at the beginning about that the players lack this ability to be able to do what they want and be creative. They seem to be more drilled on keeping the ball.
And they don't take risks, do they?
No, and that's what I mean. You have to. So, our wide players. I mean, Patrick Roberts. A few times he went and cut in, and he looked like he was going to make something happen. But our wide players don't go past enough. So Kumas, for example, when he was on, he gets the ball, but he doesn't go past his player enough. Keshi Anderson will try, but he doesn't get past his players enough at the moment. I'm not criticising him because everybody knows I love Keshi Anderson, but he's not quite doing that at the moment. Damari Gray as well is another one. We're getting occasionally past, but when we do make a cross, it's always the wrong cross.
No one's there.
Yeah. So basically, you have you bring on late on. We brought on Dykes and Dutch. And how many high crosses did we get? Very few.
Also, Dad, right, we lost that game 1-0. We went side to side pretty much for 90 minutes. We took no risks. We lose 1-0. Let's say we put a few more players high up the pitch. We lose it 2-0. We still go home with 0 points.
Yeah.
Let's start taking...
Have a go.
Yeah. And that's what's really frustrating. We've been to Bristol City. We've paid our money. We've been to most of the away games this season, Dad. And we're not even... putting a glove on our opponent.
No. I mean, their goalkeeper. How many saves did he have to make? Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, he might have even been there. He basically would have had the easiest day he's probably ever had. He had nothing to do. Maybe one or two little corners to try and save. But I mean, this sort of feeds into what Tom Wagner said as well at the Open as well. He talked about us not competing with other football teams. He said we were competing with the other entertainment platforms. He was talking about your YouTubes and your big sort of global Apple and all these big global competitions. But we pay our money to be entertained, right? We want to win games, and as loyal fans, we will always go anyway because you do. But if you want to attract the fans that Tom Wagner said he wants, in the open house, new fans and keep people coming back, you've got to provide a product that people are going to want. We want to be excited. We want to be off our seats. We're in that game against Bristol City in the hope that something would just happen, and that can't be right, So we're there right the way to the 90 minutes, always thinking we're going to get something in a minute, but it never ever happens. So,
can I be brutally honest, Dad? I don't think I want to be entertained. I think I want to win football games.
Yeah, so do I. But what I'm saying is, you'd be happy. You wouldn't be happy. You'd be more. In a better position. Say you lost that game and you felt like we'd had a go, we'd entertained, we'd made chances, we'd hit the post, we'd had a goal ruled off for offside, or that's what I'm talking about. Entertainment. It's not. But what I'm getting at is entertainment is not tippy tappy possession football. That is not attractive for me.
Well, again, Dad, I know I've just referred to it 5 minutes ago, but look at the Preston game. That was not a pretty performance. I'll take that 9 times out of 10. No, 10 out of 10 to get the 3 points and bring it home and win and have a go and be a bit scrappy than this as you say, tippy tappy side to side football that gets us nowhere. You know, it is frustrating, and I get your point. I know what you and Tom Wagner are saying when you say entertainment. You're saying have a go.
Yeah,
you know,
have a go.
leave nothing on the pitch.
Do something to entertain us because we don't mind. As Blues fans, I mean, you can't. I mean, again, you can go through the usual cliches. Yeah, we had 72% possession. Yeah, the players put the effort in, but you shouldn't even talk about the players putting the effort in. That should happen anyway. You take it as read that they'll put the effort in because you shouldn't even talk about that. That's just giving us that is it. But possession means nothing, and we've seen that. And actually, most of the points that we've picked up are the ones of the games we've had less possession. That's just a well-known fact. So therefore, there's something clearly wrong, and it's frustrating. We went to Bristol City. We were at Ashton Gate. We spent our money. We had, outside of the game, we had a great time. But to us, we go there to see our team win. And
that coach journey. I know it's a really obvious thing to say, but it just. So much worse when you've lost a game. And it's not losing. You know what, Dad? I can take losing a game of football to the better team. As you said, penalties, hit the bar, hit the post, offside goals, and you've lost to the better team on the day. That's football. But to lose in the way that we're losing, with no. I feel like there's no ambition there.
Flat.
There's no.
It's flat. It's like there's no spark. It's just like it's a flat line.
Yeah.
It just doesn't go anywhere, and that's the frustrating bit.
I know what you mean.
It's all right saying,
Flat-lined.
it is. It's a complete flat line. You're thinking, as Chris Davis will come out at the end of the game and say, we dominated the game with possession and stuff. That means nothing. Nobody's going to care about anything. I look at that league table this weekend and I see Bristol City got 3 points and they're near the top. We didn't get any points and we're now in 15th place. That's what I see when I look at the league table.
Also,
so
Dad,
I don't care about possession.
You could be in 24th with 80% possession. You could be bottom of the league and still dominate games. You're not going to score goals. It's irrelevant. It's not possession. It's what you do with the possession. And at the minute, we're doing nothing. Yeah. And it is really, really frustrating to watch.
You mentioned, Matt, right in the intro, the word pattern, and that's the bit that worries me.
Pattern of play.
Yes.
Behaviour.
Well, it's
performances.
It's pattern of play, pattern of the
performances,
results and performance and everything like that. And that's the bit that worries me the most. It's not as if we've just done this a couple of times and then think, we can do something different. This is an ongoing thing now. And that is where the real worry is because it has to change. We have to do something different. Those stats I mentioned about shots on target, you ain't going to win games if you don't score goals. You don't score goals, you're going to get points. You don't score points, you're going to go and plummet down that league table. And if we don't change this, quickly, we are going to end up in that bottom half, in a place we don't want to be again. Yeah. We thought we'd never be there again. But based upon what I've seen now, and we've been to every game, haven't we, apart from the Wrexham game, which we couldn't get tickets. From what I'm seeing, I see at least a below half Championship team here
at the moment with the way we're playing.
But the frustrating bit is we have got good players. I see good quality players in there. Look, Stano is feeding off scraps. I mean, poor bloke. He's running around getting a lot of stick, and I don't mind this. Other fans can do what they want from other clubs, saying that he's rubbish in that. But he's getting no service. He's trying his best, and and that's what frustrates the life out of me. This pattern is what has to change. So if this was just like happened, just this game and the game before, you think, that's not good. We need to try and do something, but this is now going back to. I mean, really, I'm looking at the games. Really, I'm going back to Stoke. Really, isn't it? Stoke was there. Is it very similar?
Dad, I think we were lucky. We were lucky to get away with the 2-1 at Blackburn. Again, patterns of play here. We scored 2 in 90+6. I think we have hidden over a few cracks here this season so far with a few results, and I think that's fair to say. I think when you look at us. There's definitely a difference between Birmingham City at St.Andrews and Birmingham City away from home. We're not perfect at home, but we're far stronger. But there's definitely a disconnect away from home. We're getting one shot on target most games. Fair enough, we might be having possession, but as you rightly said earlier, Dad, possession means nothing if you're going to keep coming away with no points. It's completely irrelevant.
And like you mentioned as well, Matt, teams can work us out, no problem. Very easy.
We're too easy to play against.
We've got to be the easiest team to play against in the Championship, I think. Because you can look at any of our
especially
games,
away from
and
home.
It's exactly the same. So you haven't really got to work much out, have you? You just be compact, and they're basically not going to give us much of a goal threat, and then just catch us on the break, like Bristol City did. And that was it. Again, can't we talk about much that happened for us in the game because very little did. But
let's talk about the goal.
The goal again,
a moment of sloppiness.
It was. Pake gave it. He was looking for a Watto, who was surrounded by players, lost it, and pinged it up to one pass to Sinclair Armstrong, who ran through, and went through obviously was in a race with Neumann, which he won. Went through and then just clipped it to the
Tell you
left
what, Dad,
of
for his height and his physicality, he's quite a fast player, isn't he, Sinclair?
Yeah.
It really surprised me.
Why haven't we got to play like that?
When he went through on goal, I thought, blimey, he's rapid.
Why haven't we got to play
I
like
weren't
that?
expecting that kind of pace. No, you're right. But two things for me, Dad. One, that is such a against the run of play to concede like that was so disappointing. And two, Paik lost the ball not say fair enough to let him off the hook, but he just sort of stood there.
Yeah.
There was no drive to get back, and you lose the ball. I remember when I used to play when I was a kid. If you lost the ball, headless chicken time. You run in and you desire to get it back. We saw it for the third goal against Coventry as well. Remember the players were just standing around.
Yeah.
There's just that really winds me up. We take our time, we spend our money, and the players can't even be bothered to run back. That really wound me up. And two, to get beaten with that level of directness again, just from Sinclair's point of view, a little touching, fair enough, a decent finish. Disappointing goal to concede. They go 1-0 up. They effectively shut up shop from there.
Yeah, but they can't they? Because they know that we're not going to do anything. So that's something. If we ever go behind in a game, it's a mountain for us. I mean, obviously we come back against Blackburn. That's the only one, but it's a mountain for us because we're not scoring goals, and teams will just know that they can do that and they slow the game down, put all the men behind the ball. I mean, Bristol City had like 28% possession, and they to be fair, they played their game plan well, and they won the game, and we can't argue with that. But they weren't the team I thought they were. They're not the team I thought were going to.
Would you argue, Dad, Bristol City? We had games last season in League One where we looked quite poor, but we won. So would you arguably say when a team's not on it and they still win, it's a sign of a decent team?
And fair play to them. They got the 3 points. Nothing we can do about that now. But
I agree with you, Dad. By the way, I think Bristol City, their performance was underwhelming. But sometimes, actually, when you strip it back, maybe that was one of their off games and they won it, and that's the sign of a decent team. Like, you don't make the playoffs out of luck, and you don't sit in fourth in the table out of luck.
No.
But I agreed. Over the course of that 90 minutes, I was expecting a lot more from Bristol City.
I mean, we know they're a decent team because of where they are in the league, and I've seen some of their other games as well, and they do look like a good side. But they didn't look that good against us. But they won't care. They got
the game plan.
They got 3 points. At the end of the day, we seem to be. Our players seem to be. Have lost sight of the purpose of why they're there. It isn't to keep the ball. It isn't to play pretty football. It's to score goals and it's to win games and to get points. And it seems to be that they're happy to pat themselves on the back, saying, "Oh, we had a lot of possession there, and we need to be better doing this." But they don't. There's no change, and this pattern is happening.
Also, Dad, possession isn't a sign of that you're a good team. It's an indicator that you are. Controlling games. It doesn't mean you're a good team. There's lots of teams out there that control play that don't do as well as they should. It's not an indicator of success, possession.
No.
Why are we so obsessed now in this modern age about keeping hold of the ball?
Yeah.
It's not how often you have the ball, it's what you do with it.
Yeah.
And I'm so sick of almost having this conversation. Are you not kind of sick of having this conversation on repeat? I feel like every podcast is the same with a different thing to be disappointed about in terms of a goal that we've conceded or we haven't scored enough chances. The themes are exactly the same, what we're talking about week in, week out.
It's the same things, isn't it? Set pieces as well. Our corners were terrible against Bristol City. We had 6, I think, and a couple of them didn't even get past the first man. And I watched before we came out at the time recording, I've just been watching a bit of the Premier League game between Everton and Spurs, and you look at I know we're not Premier League, but you look at the corners, there's a plan, they've got the ball's going deep and away from the goalkeeper, and the players know what they're doing. Yeah, in fact, Tottenham scored 2 goals from corners, and we just seem when we have a corner, it doesn't seem to make any difference. You just think, oh, nothing's going to happen here, and that shouldn't be the case. We should always be a threat with every opportunity that we have.
And the opposite to that, Dad, whenever an opposition has a long throw or a corner or a free kick, I get nervous, and that's worrying.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to be that the priority is to play to Chris Davis's system, and that means keeping the ball and trying to, as he says, pound the rock at the expense of actually being a bit creative, taking a bit of a chance, looking for that killer ball. That's all gone. We haven't got that. The players seem numb.
Yeah,
they seem numb. So it's like robots. They're like robots. The players are literally now they're actually trained like robots. And don't get me wrong, everything that we've said as well, and I mean this as well. I really hope Chris Davis is successful as our manager.
100%. No,
that's right. And I am still. It might not sound like it, but I am still. I'm sure Matt is as well, fully behind
100%.
And that really is genuine. But Chris Davis has got to look at what's going on here, and he's got to see the pattern and try and change something, because we have to be more of a threat.
This isn't me saying Davies out or anything of that ilk. This is just saying that things need to change. And the thing is, though, Tom Wagner and the board, they will be impatient if this sort of trend continues, I have no doubt if you're looking at this football and nothing's changing in 2 to 3, 4, 5 games, you're going to be asking questions. Of course you are. This is not a Davies out, but we have a responsibility, Dad, as Blues fans and as a channel, to say what we see.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing at the moment isn't good enough.
Yeah, and obviously we went to that Bristol City game yesterday, and we obviously experienced it firsthand live. And
Nice Guinness, though, by the way.
the Guinness was good, yeah, very good. But it was very, very disappointing. And I tell you what will make a big difference as well. We've sold out every single game so far this season, right? If we keep playing like that, I've no doubt that some fans. And I think the ones that have gone thick and thin, and we always will, and we'll never not go. But there'll be some fans that think, well, why do I want to go and watch that? I'm just going to go and watch the same routine stuff. And once the ticket sales start to go down, I think that's when Tom Wagner and that's what I'm saying. That's what I was getting at when I said we want to be entertained. We want to look forward to going to a match where something's going to happen. Somebody's going to do a little bit of magic. You're going to get that fantastic goal or fantastic tackle, or even
Someone to get the crowd on their feet a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying now. I mean, we have a responsibility as fans to get behind the team. I think we do a great job of getting behind the team as well. But fans have commented that in some home games we see them a little bit flat, but then it is down to that team, them players, to give us something to. We'll always get behind them, but if you want that proper, real, raucous atmosphere, you've got to be on the front foot. You've got to have high tempo. You've got to be scoring goals, and you've got to give the crowd something to shout.
I agree. I think a good atmosphere is a give and take from both sides of the grass.
It's actually the players that create the fire for for us to be able to sort of get up and have a real go, and this is where it's all wrong at the moment, I think. And
what's a shame, Dad, is so much is going right off the pitch, and we've just not quite got it clicked on the pitch yet, have we? And obviously that's the most important thing. You want a successful football club, you have to win football games.
Yeah, all I'll say is, Matt, just to finish for me, right? So things have to change. And I mean that as well. I mean they have to change. Not we can't keep doing what we're doing because we've been worked out. We've been worked out. And I just hope that Chris Davis and this coaches throw the iPads away, throw the computers away, talk to your players, tell them what you want, and give them the freedom to try. I mean, I get defensively we have to be set up correctly. I'm not saying just go just go gung ho. And what I'm saying is give the players when we're on the ball the ability to have a bit of freedom, because I think they're so scared now to move away from lose the ball and not create something just in case that it doesn't work out. And I think that's where our big problem is. And I would encourage Chris Davis and the coaches at least give the players a bit of freedom. When we're on the ball, okay, off the ball, we need to get into our shape because obviously defensively we still need to be solid, but creatively and we need to have some more creativity up front. And that's my opinion.
I think that's a pretty good way to end it, Dad. I think a lot of Blues fans would agree with that sentiment of having a bit more creative freedom moving forward. And again, perfect way to end it, and I couldn't agree more. But as always, Birmingham City supporters, we would love to hear from you. Maybe you're a Bristol City supporter, maybe you watched the pre-video, maybe you've tuned in for the first time. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below as well. And if you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and we're also over on Spotify, so you can listen and watch us over there. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and press that bell icon so you get notified every time we post. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.